Daniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. I want to give a special acknowledgement and show some love to Tej Henley, the sponsor of the stream. We appreciate you, Tej. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Shout out to all of my bag chasers. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It is Thursday, October 27th, 2022. I am your host, Anton from AntonDaniels.com. What is happening, family? Love, peace, joy, hair grease. You know, I stay moisturized because my head stays shiny, but you know, some people that's in my circle, they said, Anton, they got some stuff to like anti-shine your head. I'm definitely afraid of anything because first of all, the only thing that I put on my face is that Tej pack. I'm wolfing it out until tomorrow. So shout out to Tej Henley. I am deathly afraid of putting anything on my skin except for that cocoa butter, Vaseline, and Tej. So if you are not a part of the Tej family, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Make sure you tap in and get that. What's going on, family and friends? Are y'all not a part of the Bag Chasers yet? Are y'all sitting there waiting to become a part of the Bag Chasers? Checking in from Charlotte. Shout out to all my Charlotte tours is in the building. Empress Carmen, I see you. Shadow Lord, what's happening? Sabrina, Lockhart Perspective. Ish, what's going on, Ish? I love you, Ish. I seen you out here last night. They say, hey, bro, can we call in today? Should I make this a call-in show? Should I make availability for people to be able to call in? I'm going to have to see what that is. I got to see what that is. I got to see what the vibes is because, what up, Mona? It's a lot of interviewing in here, and I don't know if I'm going to have to do a part 2 because it looks like this video is pretty long. So what up, Kojak? What's up, big dog? We was down at the show. I figured it out. I'm going to let y'all know during a live stream or whether or not y'all going to be able to call in. I think that that's an interesting idea. I have no clue what this interview with Lex Fridman is going to be like. I've only seen Lex Fridman's platform maybe one or two other times that I can remember. So amazing interviewer. I think one of the people he was interviewing that I seen last time was like, was it Shia LaBeouf? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I always like to go into this making sure that I'm observing it with fresh eyes and reacting in real time. I do not like to watch content prior to reviewing it with you guys. But I believe that it all comes back to the money. In essence, I don't believe that Adidas canceled Kanye. I think that Kanye divested himself from Adidas. I think that Kanye divested himself from Adidas. Why do we believe that? And let me just have this conversation with you guys really quickly. Again, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Let me move over my stuff. So I like those colors in this t-shirt. Yeah, I'm switching it up. Next week we're gonna be official, like a referee with a whistle. We're gonna be official next week with all of the different things that's going on inside of the content creation space. So next week we're gonna be official like a referee with a whistle. We're gonna get it popping. Thank you to everybody that continues to support the platform. Thank you to all of my bag chasers. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. It is absolutely awesome to align with a community of people that's going in the direction that you're going in, as well as all of the content that we drop exclusively. So thank you. Thank you to everybody that continues to support and rock with us and roll with us. New content dropping every single week. Every single week, sometimes twice a week. And I'm working my butt off to make sure that I add as much value and I create the spaces that we can then have the best conversations possible. So thank you to everybody that continues to hold us down as a part of the Bag Chasers. In addition, make sure that you hit me up and follow me on all these social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Soon to come Rumble, and then also Parler. So actually what I might do is I might get rid of one, maybe two social media platforms because I don't like to be overwhelmed. I'm not interested in being on everything. I just want to be on the things that allow for me to be able to connect with people the most. The things that allow for me to be able to connect with people the most. That is the biggest thing for me. So shout out to all my bag chasers. Shout out to everybody that continues to hold me down. Y'all say the background color is dope. I'm working on it. I got the best cameras. I got a lot of investment that's going on in here, and so I'm excited about what's going on here. So without further ado, right before we get into the video, I just want to give you guys a little bit of inspiration. One of the things that I personally like to do is I like to watch myself, not only re-reviewing the videos that I do in order to be able to critique myself so that I can do things better the next day, but I also like to watch some of the things that people like to do and say about me. And that can be on several different platforms. It can be looking in the comments. It can be on Instagram. It can be on TikTok. It could even be reviewing review videos of some of the content that I do. And so I encourage you guys to continue to go and do review videos, post everything, share everything, do stitches, reactions, everything that you can think of any of the content that you think is relevant to what it is that you want to speak of. Have at it. I love it. But sometimes, more often than not, and this has always been the case, and if you are to become a content creator, you have to understand that this is going to happen to you. If you get any level of success, which we all know that, it's almost like being a rapper. Like you have a very slim shot of being successful. And even if you are, you have a very slim chance of making money if you're not doing it the right way, right? But I do like to watch some of the videos that people do of me. And I look for a pattern sometimes from some of the creators that do the videos, because the pattern in most instances is not one of objectivity. The pattern is one of jealousy. And so, as usual, this year they here, next year they not, who knows, or they might just fall off because they know that they broke as fuck. But the thing that inspires me to reach out to you today, my audience, is ask yourself this. If people don't necessarily like you so much, then why do they absorb so much of your content? Why do they then start to talk like you? Why do they put to use some of the strategies, tactics, and even financial advice that you give them? I am very petty. I pay attention to, I write the list down. And it's funny because um, I punch up, I don't punch down. So I understand them punching up to me. And if I ever decide that I wanted to, I could squash them like an ant, but they actually doing me a favor by doing review videos of me because it keeps my name in the algorithm. So I'm very appreciative. And why would I ever want to squash a colony of ants that continues to do my bidding? But they do it out of jealousy. And so I want you guys to make sure that you understand when somebody says something like you doing it for the money, or you place money over friendship, or money over whatever, right? You place money over, you place on a bag over morals or something like that, right? They'll say some stupid junk. Remember this, it's all jealousy. It's 100% envy. It is a desire, right? It is truly a desire to be in your position. They would cut their left nuts off. They would cut their left nut off if they can be like you. It's as simple as that. I don't want you to lean too heavy into it. I'm not going to give you a strong breakdown or soliloquy. It could be somebody in your family. It could be people that pay attention to your videos. It could be people that's trying to come up off of you. It could be a friend that's around you. It could be the person that you lay next to every day. Whenever they start to try to diminish your light in order to try to stand up their own, what happens is they're operating out of jealousy. They're unable to even contain themselves, and it's okay. It's okay. Divest yourself from them. Come from amongst them and come to the Bag Chasers University, where we will embrace you with open arms. We will love you. We will embrace you. We will empower you. We will ensure that you become the best version of yourself. Even start to pay attention to people that connect with each other in solidarity to try to get your attention. They love you. They're secretly fans of you. Don't destroy them. Don't get rid of them. You can be a little petty, but just make sure that you remember that it's out of envy and it's out of spite, despite the fact that they don't have what you have. They don't have the phenomenal marriage that you have. They don't have the money that you have. They don't have the support and the network that you have. They don't have the spirituality and the moral compass. And they're doing it because they look at you as a god. You are the god to their being. You are Thanos to them. Just remember, at any point, you can snap and remove half of them dudes, and it won't even mean anything. But I chastise you because I love you. I chastise you because I love you. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I love you. I appreciate you. Let's get to this bag. It say, Anton, they can't figure out how intentional you are. They know. They know. They just don't know what's powering and what's behind me. It's a force much bigger than they could ever imagine. It's almost like trying to get mad at God. What you gonna do to God? What you gonna do to God? You can't get mad. All you can do is complain about it. But just remember, complaints go up, not down. Complaints go up, not down. Whenever you're in a corporate environment, whenever you work for somebody, even as a business owner, you're complaining up. You're trying to get things solved by going up, not down. Down is where you put your feet. Up is where you pray to. And so just remember, when they look up, they're looking up to pray to me. They're hoping to get my attention. God bless you. Now, just remember, as you and your girl continue to look up, I might swing over to your girl and then pull out my cock. And so she might be looking up to my cock. Anton, you're not a Christian. I know. I'm petty. I'm petty. Don't call me a Christian. Call me petty. Petty Jackson. Teflon Time. No matter what they throw at you, I'm Teflon Time. Teflon Time is in the building. Look at me. It's on top of my game. I'm coming in through the ceiling, still spitting them rhymes. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Make sure you get your likes up. Make sure that you turn on your notifications. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Make sure you tap into the Bag Chasers. We're going to be celebrating New Year's Eve in Miami, exclusively for the Bag Chasers only. Let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so petty. I'm so petty. So apparently y'all have informed me that Kanye has been doing an interview with Lex Fridman. And so, again, I've seen Lex Fridman. I think the one interview that I seen with him was with Shia LaBeouf. He always wears this black and white suit, which I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of minimalism when it comes to dressing up and doing things a certain type of way. So I want to get into it. So make sure y'all share this video. Make sure that y'all hold me down. Link to the Patreon is in the description. Shout out to T. Chanley. We got Lapeef Let's Talk tonight. So let me go ahead and find this video and see what we talking about. Lex. That's a heck of a name, too. Lex Fridman? Is that it? All right, let's get into it.
The following is a conversation with Ye, the legendary artist, producer, and designer formerly known as Kanye West, on this, the Lex Fridman podcast.
Based off of our connection and just you being a friend, I need to show you my 2 tech companies and get your perspective on it. Because now I have friends that can give a perspective. Like when I would work on albums, I had other friends that worked on albums and they would give me their perspectives on it.
You want to do this?
We are doing it. This is part of it.
This is part of it?
Absolutely.
All right.
So I guess the first thing that I want to ask a question about before we really start to deep dive into this interview, because this is a long interview, so I think that I might do a part 1 and a part 2, depending on how cordial we are on the Lapeef Let's Talk show, because you know me. I have no problem bringing these chicks to the front of the congregation and have a conversation a day after. So we definitely going to be breaking this down one way or another. But this seems like an extensive interview. And so I'm just wondering, who does Kanye call friends? And also, I know that that hoodie and the way that he's dressing is a part of his Yeezy Season 9 thing that he got going on. But I'm also wondering, do we change his clothes every day? All right. I love you, Ye, but I'm just wondering if he changes clothes every day. Aaron says, I'm pissed. I saw those blue Yeezys you got on Monday in Atlanta, but didn't buy them. Y'all so funny.
Beautiful.
Oh, well, I wanted to finish. The thing is, okay, you're going to ask me different questions, but I'm about growing and building and bringing the idea to life. So when I see you, I say, oh, this guy understands how to hire engineers. Where I'm coming from Hollywood, coming from press, coming from media, all of the guys, that so many of the guys that have been like voices and faces and talking heads, whatever, have not understood how to engineer product. And that's the reason why I was able to jump past everyone in the entertainment field and become, whatever the net worth is, 11 billion. I'm going to stop putting the whole black thing on my worth. Like, let's just see where I am on the scale of life, because that's a cop out for me to say richest black guy.
Oh, sometimes people you got to elevate, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been talking about this, especially when I broke down yesterday, how Ye is actually worth more, in my opinion, leaving Adidas, because Adidas didn't cancel Ye. Ye made Adidas, and then he decided that he wanted to divest himself from it. But I think that you start to jump outside of the narrative when you can start to paint yourself with a much more broad brush, right? Because when you just say, I am the richest black guy, that literally puts a cap on what it is that you're doing. When you start to compare yourself against, or you start to transcend whatever your current environment is, and you don't even compare yourself as far as money. I said, and I told people this, and I said this a long time ago, I said, yo, I'm going to stop saying how much money I got. I'm going to stop talking about how much real estate I got, because you already know. You already know. All you just got to do is pay attention and look at who I am on a spectrum of life. I like that.
of all time, because that's feeding into the same, trauma economy that Black Lives Matter feeds into. That's why I love and respect engineers. That's the only thing that we really need to teach in school is engineering. We don't need to teach history. We don't need to teach anything that is subjective. It needs to only be engineering taught in school, and everything else needs to be recess. Nothing that at all, any forced subjective information
That's
is just to
interesting.
weaken and indoctrinate our species. And that's what schools do now.
As an engineer, I love hearing you say that, but to push back, history is not, the interpretation of history might be subjective, but history has some facts and they're useful to give a grounding to the way you do engineering.
I don't 100% believe in anything, any concept of the future or any concept of history, because history was just written by the victors.
That is very true. That is very true. We don't know what we don't know. And that's why a lot of times when I see people when they talk stuff and they say stuff like, well, history says and this and that, and this has been proven. And I'll be like, well, how was it proven? Well, I read this book and it aligns with this. Well, history is written by the victors. What are you talking about? It's not written by victims. It's written by the victors. And so how do you substantiate your argument unless you were A, there, or you're B, 100% sure that everything that you're reading is true and is fact? It kind of reminds me, and think about it like this. Shout out to Persevere Data TV, says, shout out to the engineers. Shout out to the engineers. It reminds me of how people try to dispel what it is that they read in the Bible, right? And so I'm always like, well, what are you dispelling it with? Well, more information because this happened and this happened. Okay, well, where did you get that with? Well, this person said it, and where did they explain it at? Well, they explained it in a book. So that book that you're reading, regardless of whether it's the Bible or not, is faith-based. Shout out to Jeffrey Woodland with $3.28 super chat, says rich and famous can be dangerous. It is very dangerous. It is very, very, very dangerous. And I'm going to break that down in a minute too. Everything that you're reading is, unless it's math, unless you're studying math, every single book that you read, the only reason they come for the Bible is because it's the most popular, most sold book on earth. Every single text, literature, autobiography, nonfiction book that you read is a faith-based narrative that's being portrayed, that you have to have some level of faith that the person is telling the truth in order to be able to accept whatever the premise is, whether they call it nonfiction or not. Everything that you read is faith. You have to have a faith-based narrative in order to accept what it is that they're telling you. Anybody can say anything that they want in a book, even if it's an autobiography. They can change the adjectives and the words to emphasize and mean a certain thing. We read Will Smith's book and then we seen him slap the piss out of Chris Rock right on the stage. Will Smith dropped the book and then he slapped Chris Rock up right on the stage. Every single thing that you read, it requires a level of faith in order to accept it. So don't just extend it to the Bible, extend it to everything.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
if I see stuff happen on the day that later that day is reported wrong. So how wrong is something reported 1,000 years ago? And why would we argue about something that's not in the now? Because that's the only thing that everyone can agree upon, is that it is now, right now.
Yeah, well, you try not to make the mistakes of the past. That's the.
Why do you think that the Bible specifically says where two or three are gathered, there I am in the midst of thee? But the Bible throughout the scriptures says, go and get a witness. 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 It's a reason for that.
Usefulness of history, the limited usefulness of history.
The biggest mistake from the past that we keep making is looking at the past.
Too much. Giving too much value to the past.
I agree.
Too much value to the past. We are now.
I agree.
We are now. We are here. We are one species. We are one race.
I agree. I'm going to break that down in a minute, but I want him to go.
And it's time. And the leadership is changing because you have Elon as a leader, Ye as a leader, and we're the top leaders. We're more influential than the presidents.
Facts.
So you're a human being. Rappers
are more influential than the presidents. That's why the president go and get Cardi B in order to have a conversation, and he's over there talking to the worst people in society because they know that those are the most influential people in society. 100% true.
With engineering challenges before you, with a STEM player, with Parlor, What's the hardest thing in front of you on the
I
engineering
say
front?
That's
on a
the
regular
first-
basis that the thing that is impacting and preventing people to become successful the most is that they lean too heavily on the past. And one of the criticisms that I have with a lot of these Black Hebrew Israelites is that they live in the Old Testament. The Old Testament is literally a testament as to what it is that we went through, so that you can then understand why Jesus came in the first place. And then the only two, because there were thousands of laws in the Mosaic Law and in the Old Testament that people could not follow, which was one of the reasons why Jesus had to come and die for the sins of his people in the first place. Now, it's only two laws that you have to abide by. Two laws. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. That's pretty much it. Because it encompasses all of the other laws. If you love God and then you love your neighbor as you love yourself, then you won't do them wrong. You won't murder them. You won't steal from them. You won't do them dirty, so on and so forth. So it sets the foundation. A, you got to do things the right way. B, you got to go about treating people based off of that foundation the right way, according to how it is that the living word, is teaching you to go about doing things. The Old Testament is important, but the New Testament is the blueprint. The Old Testament is important, but the New Testament is the blueprint. So then when I see people that be in the chat and they say stuff like, well, so should we just forget about slavery? No. You understand where you come from, but you don't let that be the determining factor for how it is that you go about living your life. It is a foundation. It sets you straight as to understanding how you can prevent yourself from going back into that space. You look at the things from the past, not necessarily to go back to it, but to go away from it and learn what you don't do so that you don't come back into the same thing. The thing about the scriptures is that when you go about making money the right way, when you go about doing things the right way, what happens is God does not let you go to the next level until you pass the first test. You can't skip steps. And so it's important for you to actually go about doing a process appropriately so that you can then be the best version of yourself when you start to get the resources, the marriage, the women, and all that, everything. What we've done in society is we've started to skip steps. And what happens when you skip steps is that you start to introduce other things into the fold. You introduce feminism, you introduce weak men. Men no longer have any kind of rite of passage in order to be able to substantiate whether or not they even deserve a wife. And so what happens is they go out, they bust down chicks, they get a chick, they do all of this other type of stuff, but it doesn't translate into anything into their lives, because what happens is they skip steps. They never learn how to be a man. They didn't know what it would be like to endure to the end. They didn't know that the race was it wasn't given to the swift, it was given to he who endured to the end. They don't know what masculinity looks like. And so you throw a bunch of people into the mix to do a bunch of things that they're not familiar with and they don't understand, and you skip steps. So now you don't have the foundation. It's not enough to just get married. You have to be successfully married. It's not enough to just get rich. It's how you get rich that matters. You should not skip steps, because then that's how we have Hollywood. They got a lot of money, they got a lot of fame, but it's a demonic culture, because the way in which you go about doing it, the character that you have as you continue to do it, it matters. It matters. Let's continue.
Sentence that any of our species needs to hear when they're born. You are a human being with engineering challenges, and I consider
shout out to the chat.
Consider challenges to be opportunities in front of you.
Yeah.
Literally, like let me see a piece of paper. I need to write that down. That's the beginning
That's a good line.
of our new species constitution. I'm gonna do the paper like this wide.
Yeah,
I'll put it in widescreen. This for Ridley. You.
This dude is it's just interesting to see how people break things down.
No, let me like you are a being with engineering
Opportunities or challenges?
Opportunities. I'm sorry, I don't spell as good as John Legend. Opportunities.
Hey, this dude is so petty. Hey, I love it.
Before you.
I love petty A.
I like the before because it can mean
Ye
actually can mean
you're not gonna just
forward
throw shots and I'm not gonna
before
remember
you.
about it.
This right here, I've always said I'm the top 5 writer in human existence, but this right here is pushing me to like number 4 or number 3.
It's
So
a
who's
good line.
Because
two
who
and
would you
number
say
one?
is the top? It's top writer in human existence. We know who it is.
That's subjective. Who's that?
It's factual though.
Who's that?
It's like,
Who's that?
okay, so who's the top person in tech history? It's not subjective.
Steve Jobs.
Wow.
There's a non-subjective answer to both of those. Both of those people have influenced 30% of our existence.
So the influence is the main metric of greatness.
Okay, one person,
Yeah.
30% of our language was, the English language was written by them. The other person, 30% of the products we use was led by them. So
30% of our language is written by,
Come on.
Shakespeare.
And who's
And then the product.
Look.
I knew he was gonna say
Steve
Steve
Jobs.
Jobs.
Yeah.
You put Steve above like Elon's of the world? Because Steve is
He's
a designer, he's a designer and engineer, but he's a designer, he's a visionary in the
Steve Jobs was like, let me explain to y'all what the difference is, because Steve Jobs was not a great software engineer. As a matter of fact, Steve Jobs was a horrible software engineer. What Steve Jobs was good at was bringing the right people together to play the symphony. He was the orchestra director, so to speak. He wasn't the person that was going to write the code. A lot of people like to give the person that drops the fries. Not saying that code or writing or software engineering is equivalent to fries, but I'm giving you an example. Steve Jobs was Ray Kroc, right? The McDonald's brothers would still probably be a mom and pop store if Ray Kroc didn't have the vision behind or have the life experience that then transformed it into McDonald's, because he understood the business concepts that needed to be applied to what the McDonald's brothers had put together. There are phenomenal people, and this is why you should not try to overstep your boundaries and try to be everything that everybody else is. You have a unique place in life, right? Your job may very well be to do the edits or move the chairs or manufacture or design or deliver or become the CEO or whatever it is, but I don't overstep my boundaries, even as a content creator, right? And even as a person that has built multiple platforms with more to come on YouTube and then subsequently outside of YouTube, because I have a grand vision. I have a vision board, right? My job is not to do what you do great. My job is to find the people that do great things and then unleash them, give them the tools that they need in order to be successful. I'm not trying to do more than what it is that I'm already designed to do. I'm not trying to overstep my boundaries. Let's continue.
design space.
Well, I would lean to him because I'm not an engineer, right? So I'm more like,
Then you're an engineer. If Steve is an engineer, you're an engineer, essentially.
he's a cultural engineer. Like the people who run the emotions of the world and run the world off of people's emotions right now are
Pirates of Silicon Valley.
social engineers. And social engineering is so important. Like city
see social
design.
engineering
There's a
every
fancier word for that. But I was in Oxnard last night to see Anthony Jeselnik.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta find out what his opening joke was, because I'm doing interviews and I'm thinking I'm funny. And I like that he just kept on saying 20-year anniversary. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And his opening joke
You say Thomas
was
Edison?
so high level, I realized that I wasn't funny. I realized that this dude is a professional at what he does. And so many things are subjective. I always talk about this. It's like, people are arguing like, is Emily Ratajkowski the hottest, person? And I'm like, that's such a subjective thing. But like, if you go and shoot 3-pointers with Steph Curry, it's not subjective, right? Or if you go and compare bank accounts with Elon, it's not subjective. And another thing that's not subjective, porn.
What?
about it?
Dick size. It's not subjective.
We had this conversation yesterday where I was talking about y'all bringing y'all spouse of another race over to dinner because we don't really truly understand who people are until we can listen to them in their own comfortable environment in their household. And I said that that white woman bring her black boyfriend over. Let me be quiet. Let me stop.
Good measure.
But porn is more about more than just dick size, and greatness is more than the size of the
Depends
bank
on
account.
depends on what you're searching for in the search bar. Oh my God!
Right. So there's a
But
subjective
greatness is subjective, though.
right. So do you care about the stuff that's objective or subjective more? Because greatness to me is what matters. The bank account comes and goes. The impact on our society, like you said, social engineering, the impact on the collective intelligence of our species, that what permeates throughout
This is a
the
great
rest of time.
I
conversation.
like what you said.
This is much better than the Piers Morgan interview. This is an incredible interview.
Impact. I'm taking notes. What'd you say? The
On the
impact of
collective intelligence of our species.
But this, honestly, look, think about this. Ye don't respect Pierce. He respects Lex, right? And regardless of how much money that Ye has or whatever, so on and so forth, he's willing to listen to other people that has insight and information. And this dude is literally walking around with a pen and a paper and taking notes. That's pretty incredible. I don't think y'all really understand what it is that we listening to and what we witnessing right now.
impact on the collective intelligence.
When
They
Ye
showing it all.
is writing down the words that came out of my dumb mouth, I have made it in life.
Facts.
There's a lot of people that have kind of like sat through. I wanted to wear a different color hoodie because I was just tired of seeing this hoodie in all the interviews. And there's a lot of kids that are with me. They see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they had to sit through all of the muck of all the previous interviews to get to this.
Facts. I just said that. Lex is way more interesting. Why haven't I been listening to Lex? Edison is 100 times what is jobs in your description. I'm not so sure about that, Aaron. I'm not so sure about that. Shout out. He said, this religious point is why I understand Tate's profession of Islam. While Christians have the two basic rules, Islam brought the fundamental impacts when the rules aren't being obeyed and where the rules of society are held. There are impacts of when the rules aren't obeyed and where the rules of society are held. It absolutely is. There's more parallels with the Bible and the Quran than you think. But that's for a whole nother day. Maybe I'll do that whole discussion on Fight Club. I'm not really sure that y'all prepared to meet me on this religious topic or a discussion about spirituality. I'm not going to do it here, but maybe I'll do it on Fight Club. If you think that you're ready and you think you built for that discussion and you're ready to put your wits and what it is that you think that you've read to the test, you ready? Y'all ready to have that? Because I've been holding back and I've been really, really trying to figure out whether or not we was going to do this. If you ready to start talking this talk, then I will set it up on Fight Club and then we can get into it because it's going to get it's going to get real shabba ranks. It's going to get real shabba ranks over there. All right, let's continue.
Every interview has been just an emotional, it's just like been an argument up to this point. This is the first of, this is the next frontier of where our species is going to head.
Thank you for the super
It starts
chat, too.
here. It starts
everybody
with you,
that
Lex.
support the platform.
So
Make
this
sure
is
y'all
the
hit a
first
like for
time
the
I
YouTube
heard
algorithm,
you
subscribe to the
say
channel,
the word
turn on your
engineering
notifications.
at least so many
I
times,
appreciate
which
y'all.
I love hearing. So this is where you're at.
It don't cost you
You're
nothing
like
to hit that
that
subscribe
newborn.
button, y'all.
You're a being with engineering opportunities.
Yeah. And we're all a newborn because in Christianity, we say born again. We're all newborns and everyone can, everyone shall, I don't like the word can, shall, the only thing about shall is like, it kind of dictates and can kind of lets people off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't found the perfect post Shakespeare and post Steve Jobs and post Elon and post Ye and post Drake way to communicate this. But we update and we do. And what the current media structure, no, it's not actually nothing that's holding us. There's nothing actually holding us back because I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Like they could have killed me at, George Bush don't care about black people. They could have killed me at Beyonce had the best video, but we're here now. So we just keep on leaning and leaning.
Think about that, y'all. They said that Ye was canceled with the George Bush statement. They said that Ye was canceled with Taylor Swift. They said Ye was canceled when he got with Kim Kardashian. Can you really even cancel Ye? I don't think that you can cancel Ye. I think that Ye is too big. If anything was to happen to Ye today, I think it would be a riot. It would be insane out here in these streets.
Leaning, and there's these things where I just think about, there'll be times when I'm at war, and every now and then when the bombs stop going off and all the headlines and
tell all your Hebrew Israelites, brothers and sisters, that Anton about to set up Fight Club, and I'm gonna wash them. Go ahead and get the clothesline up because I'm hanging these dudes out to dry on Fight Club. I just gotta find a good date. Tell your Hebrew Israelite friends to show up on Fight Club, and I'm putting up a clothesline, and I'm hanging all of them up to dry. We gonna get it in. I've been waiting to meet y'all. I've been waiting on this. Shout out to the super chats. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to $23.99. I appreciate you. The Velvet Tusi, Velvet Sweet. I appreciate you.
Smearing and all that stuff going off. I think about my family, and I'll think about Kim. And
I'm doing a comedy show. Kenny, I'm doing a comedy show soon. I'm setting it up. Me, Charleston White. I'm actually doing real stand-up. I got it. I'm doing everything.
Think about how, King Koopa has her in the castle right now, and just on Mario Brothers, you know how it is. Just go for the princess and you get to this level, and it's like, dur, 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 dur. I'm like, I sung the song wrong, right? And then they take the princess again.
Which one are you, Mario?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing, the thing you love the most about Kim? From a Mario perspective.
From a Mario perspective. Maybe you just talk to Ye and a calm voice.
Was there a moment?
She's definitely my favorite of all time.
Well, tell him to show up.
Was there a moment that...
Listen, all Hebrew Israelites do is yell a lot. That's all they do. They ain't got nothing for me. Tell them I got a clothesline for them, and I'm putting these dudes out to dry. No dryer, no none of that. We cooking up Hebrew Israelites on Fight Club.
Like that catches you off guard and you say, I love this human being.
He always paused.
I mean,
when it comes to Kim,
it's just the DNA is like she's a mix of Rob and Chris.
Can you explain?
I mean, that's like a really high pool right there.
Rob Kardashian.
Those are like two geniuses.
So like the entire history of evolution of the human species created this DNA that created this being. There's a life there. There's a set of memories in the history that brought you together, and you're like, damn, I like this DNA.
Yeah. And so certain people have just like high DNA.
Shout out to Gaming Central TV One. I appreciate you.
It's like,
how's your shut down as Donda School. Pretty not good. A fan of them harmony. Kids like
I think.
What? Hold on. That can't be true. That can't be true. I can't. I'm not going for that. If that's true, wow, that's crazy. That is insane. Wow. I'm going to cover that in a little bit. I'm going to cover that later. I don't want. Thank you for letting me know that, Gaming Central TV. Ooh, so much content to get to during this week.
We've seen that. It's been proven. I mean, but look at my mom and look at my dad. You know, me and my dad have a water purification center in the DR right now. And my dad is the original Steve Jobs, and he was blocked by people around him, and people were using him and taking advantage and, you know, not believing in his vision. My dad's the educated version of Ye.
What'd you learn about life from your dad?
And my dad got girls too.
But those are small details.
That's a big detail, being that I found my dad's, you know, Playboy when I was 5 years old. It greatly affected my motivation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's part of the engine that drives Ye.
Absolutely. I remember
Shout
when
out to
Pharrell.
Maury. Hey, Maury, I love you, bro. I appreciate you. I see you on multiple different platforms, always loving and supporting. Says the elites will go hard to shut down anything from people who go against the status quo. They're just proving Kanye right. Wow, that is pretty insane. If I wasn't already into this interview, I'd be deep diving into it.
Was first in all the videos.
Shout out to Maury.
And my girl was like, girls like Pharrell. And I was like, I want girls to like me too.
Funny that that's behind all the ambition, all the drive.
That's how we make people. It's how people are made.
It's the desire to be loved. Is that at the individual level, just being noticed, and also at the societal level of scale?
Well, now I've gone past. I'm like at that place where.
Do y'all know that I don't watch porn? I won't do it. I don't want to be desensitized. I don't want to be influenced by things that, well, that's a whole nother conversation. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron says Edison had a think tank that brought together the best and invested in them. There's no Ford, film, or music industry. He started the music industry. Without Edison, even the construction, concrete, he'd be a trillionaire today. Fair enough. I don't know enough about Edison. I got to do some research. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that super chat, my friend.
Nikola Tesla was later into.
I don't think that. Let me just say this as it relates to. I need to write down my thoughts because sometimes I have a lot of fleeting thoughts that I then forget what it is that I want to talk about certain things. Let me say this. Can we do a quick hiatus really quickly? We're gonna come back to this. With the shutting down of the Donda School, let me share my screen really quickly with you guys because I want you guys to see this for yourself. All right. So this is Business Insider. It says Kanye West, controversial school abruptly shut its doors, report said amid backlash of anti-Semitic comments. Okay. It says Donda Academy, controversial private school founded by Kanye West earlier this year, has closed with immediate effect. Reports say a social media post deleted by the rapper appears to show. The apparent abrupt closure comes amid continuing fallout from West's recent comments. I'm not even gonna say the other thing. It had obtained an email sent to the parents of the Donda Academy students saying that at the discretion of our founder, Donda Academy will close for the remainder of 2022-23 school year, effective immediately. Sent by the email's principal. West confirmed the news in a since deleted Instagram post directed at Jason Lee, CEO of Hollywood Unlocked. Here's the clout you're looking for, West says in the deleted post. My school is being shut down. Wow. It tends to reopen September 23, adding that we are confident that our scholars will continue to advance as the creative innovators, influencers, and academic leaders of the next generation. Unaccredited Christian school require parents to sign a non-disclosure agreements before students can join. 100 students, with half attending on scholarships funded by West and his friends. Students had the $15,000 a year schoolwear uniforms made by Balenciaga and the rapper's own brand Yeezy. His basketball team, which recruited some of the top high school players from around the U.S., also wore designer uniforms. The team had been kicked out of a prestigious tournament due to his founder's comments. Wow. That's messed up. That is absolutely messed up. So let me ask y'all a question before we get back to the interview. Do y'all think that this is right? Do y'all think that this makes sense? That his school is now shut down and okay, let me ask y'all a different question because I want to position this conversation a little bit differently before we get back to the Lex Fridman breakdown. If not Ye, then who? If not Ye, then who? Because I'm not saying that everybody needs to position themselves to get behind Ye. And I'm not even talking about from a race perspective or anything like that. Who? I say that with myself. You know, people that don't like me or they may not necessarily like what it is that I stand for. Shout out to Alex Trebek says, Forbes says the principal of Donda said, Ye asked them to shut it down for the rest of the year. But I wonder why, though. You have to ask yourself why. People don't just randomly do things. They have to ask themselves why. Thank you, Alex Trebek. If not Ye, then who? When people tap in with me and they say, well, Anton, I don't necessarily like you. I don't necessarily care about what it is that you do or how you talk. You call yourself a Christian, but you cuss or whatever. And I say, okay, cool. You ain't got to like me. Then find somebody else that you rock with that can give you the food and the nourishment that you need in your soul and your spirit, the insight and information that I have. If you don't like me, then find somebody else, but get it from somewhere. If not Ye, then who? Because the problem that I have with people in a general sense, and we see this happening before our very eyes, every single day, there is a something happening to tear down not only the reputation, but everything that he's ever stood for. When he starts to tell the truth, everybody says, okay, cool, hands off. So here's my question. If not Ye, then who? Because the problem is that you don't get behind anything or anyone except the people that are the worst for you. Don't tell me Lil Baby. Don't tell me Lil Wayne. Don't even tell me a Lil. I don't want to hear about Jay-Z. He don't know what the fuck he talking about either. Please don't tell me Lizzo. I don't even necessarily have to even hear from an entertainer. I don't want to hear about the Nation of Islam. I'm cool on that, right? In a general sense, a normal human being that decides to start to have the conversation and empower you from a business perspective, a spiritual perspective, and then in addition to that, willing to be open to the possibility of learning, growing, and then evolving, but more importantly, pushing you in a direction that allows for you to grow. If not him, then who? If not me, then who? If not Eric Thomas? And is it a collective of people? What? Because the only thing I ever hear from people is who they don't like and why they don't like them. You don't hear that from other people and other communities. You don't like Ben Carson. He's one of the greatest. You don't like Thomas Sowell. You don't like Candace Owens. You don't like Barack Obama. Half the people don't like him. Who? Somebody give me, look, watch this. Answer. Someone stable and better spoken. This is the most problem in the U.S. generally, and even more highlighted in the Black community. Why are all your role models, thought leaders, and entertainers? Who? Hassan. Then who? Who? Don't tell me what the prototype is. Give it to me. Is it you? I've largely lived my life error-free. I've lived my life error-free. And don't tell me it's the way that I talk. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. You hear more egregious things from these rappers that come into your community and poison your minds and then deal dope and then glorify it and then say, but I changed my life and make all of the money off of you. And you love them. You love the poison that they sell you into your ears. Please don't sit here and tell me it's because I wear Versace robes, I got a Rolex, and then I drive a Porsche. That's bullshit. Then who? Shout out to Jason Hunter Lee. It was said that Adidas parted because Ye violated policies by his words, then why not take him to court for breach of contract to recoup the alleged $250 million they'll lose by detaching from him? Just here to learn. That's a good point. New Era Man says they want us to turn on Ye instead of proving him wrong. Who? Hold on, let me see what Hassan gave us. Obama, for example, someone from his camp. Obama ain't even for you. Obama championed LGBTQ plus issues, and I would venture to say, as masculine as Obama walked, that Obama could quite possibly be one of the biggest simps that I've ever seen in my life. Obama is not the things that he did. I mean, listen, I like Obama. I think that he's well spoken, but Obama also gave us Joe Biden. Kevin Samuels was the best example, and they cheered when he died. Well-dressed, stable, and well-spoken. Good point, J. Reed Art. I know college-educated fools who said free Young Thug and support King Von, but then they said Kanye needs to be canceled. Let's think about that. We are backwards. Our culture is horrible. Peace, Anton. I hear you getting that Hebrew Israelites. Not sure why, but the fact is, Ye is fulfilling prophecy, is trying to wake us up. Read Deuteronomy 30. That is the code. We need to make a change. Try the Most High. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Rob says, as a community, we need to stop looking for leaders to lead us. We need to focus on learning how to focus on individual liberty first. There is no such thing as a perfect leader. We need to learn how to learn and analyze. I don't think that you can do that as an individual, Rob. Individually, you can't, because you need, I'm going to tell you this. I'll give you an example, Rob, and then we're going to get back to the Lex Fridman conversation. You know why? You know what makes me relevant? You know what makes me more powerful? Is the fact that I've created a community that is behind me, right? I realize that me going it as a lone soldier is an exercise in futility, because all it's going to do is drain me and then eventually wear me out, and then I'll just completely go off and die like everybody else. The other side of the equation is, what I've been able to do is get this person that's intelligent over here, get this person that's intelligent over here, get this person that's an engineer over here, get this person that's phenomenal as an administrator, an HR professional over here, get this person that's a venture capitalist over here, and then I pulled them all together and we all became bag chasers, and there's thousands of us. And then I said, okay, this person is a content creator. This person is this. Let me put this person in position. Let me put that person in position. But we never knew what we were capable of until I brung us all together for us to be able to start to change the narrative. And then I said, listen, we gonna meet in LA, and I met up in LA, and we met up in Miami, and we met up in DC, and we met up in Atlanta, and we met up in New York, and we met up in Vegas, and we met and I said, listen, let's do these investor series. You need money? Let me send it over to you. You need money in Canada? Here's a wire. You having problems with your rent? Let me send it to you. You having problem with a funeral? Let me send it to you. And then everybody else started to join in, and then we all started to support each other, right? And then they started to get each other's jobs. They started to give tips. And they started to talk about money and cryptocurrency and relationships. And we start to build together, similar to what Ye is talking about the Jewish community, right? You need people to galvanize, get together, provide the infrastructure, and then more importantly, the inspiration that comes along with building a community. You can't do it as individuals. That's the whole idea behind divide and conquer. And I understand what you're saying, that people need to galvanize, but sometimes people don't even know what they don't know. And unless you can lean on and establish a set of principles in an environment that allows for people to be able to grow together, you will never truly have any power, because we're so separated and divided. And the thing that we usually lean on is dividing ourselves against each other. And that has never helped anybody. It has never helped anybody at all. Shout out to Person for Data Says Facts. I have a couple new brothers that I met at the Detroit meetup. We did a Detroit meetup. And now we're linking up in the city regularly. Aaron says, folks told me that slavery was a choice, was more offensive than rappers who brag about smoking on dead bodies that they've actually deleted. Cliff Williams says, Enough respect on time. I don't want to fish. I want to learn how to fish. So, I'm just saying, it's just a conversation. It's just a conversation. But let's get back into the Lex Fridman interview. I don't want to derail.
His career, where it wasn't about being loved, it wasn't about sitting at the dinner parties next to Anna Wintour and stuff.
Link to the
It
Patreon is in the
was
description as well. It's
about
pinned to the
getting
top of the
the
chat.
idea across. So I have these cells that are very, and I just keep on saying Ridley Scott, but Ridley Scott has a special anointing. It isn't just sci-fi what he's doing. There's something in there, just like George Lucas. There's something different that's there.
Shout out to you. I appreciate you for the super chat. Said you thinking about starting your own
drawing?
channel.
I'm drawing
Thank you
these
too,
new
my
living
friend.
cells that we will exist in. And this is over, okay, let's do like, I don't like talking about money because like man-made money anyway, it's like 4 quadrillion respected dollars. And then you have other forms of currency. Of course, social currency is super important right now. But this is a drawing and it's at a pretty good place now. This be 40,000 square feet. I want to start just talking in meters. I just think we should go to anything to restore
excited.
the Tower of Babel.
He looks
like
very,
they said,
very excited to be having this conversation.
I'm just draw a person here for scale.
Yeah, that would help.
Okay. What do you think of that? Look at my person. See the scale in this room? All right. So.
Wait, the dot is the person?
Yeah. I'm saying it's 40,000 square feet. But that would be like
what are the other parts of the cell?
Okay, so it's a screen. It doesn't go all the way to the top, and it's one hole for light, but the water and the light and air all come in from the top. So that's like the mouth. And then this is the belly button. We're God's iPhone. We're his greatest creation.
So this is all connected? These are all connected?
Yes, I'm drawing how these other cells go next to each other.
What's the vision here?
Happiness. Then we talk about like what's the motivation? Like, yeah, there's a motivation somewhere in the back of my mind.
What they're talking about. I'm so confused right now.
My family. And if it's like where Moses smite the rock and God didn't allow him to get to the promised land, because the promised land is family. That is the promise. That is earth. I mean, that is heaven on earth is family. Family is heaven. That's the promised land. And for your family to be together. So say I smite the rock and God doesn't let me have my family back. My mission in life is still to promote families at all costs and make families' existence easier. So
just don't do it how Hafiz did it. Just don't do it the same way Hafiz did it.
Take this thing, you put a localized farm, say if it's in a community, that we do localized growing, and then we partner with Big Pharma and say, hey, you're actually.
I agree, Maury. Ye do let his thoughts stream with no cohesion. But I guess when you start to parse out what it is that he's saying a lot of times, though, it still makes sense. I think he's doing a better job of communicating effectively now, but I think that he's just one large stream of consciousness, which I can get it. I can understand it. A lot of people will ask me, Anton, how come you don't ever run out of things to talk about or subjects to tackle? It's just because I have so many things that I have to tackle, and I can show you, bro. It's literally just a stream of different things. Just so many different subjects that I just write down streams of consciousness all the time. Like I just be talking and I just be writing stuff down, and there's so much that I'll never get to. If I stream 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I never had to sleep, I would never run out of different things that I wanted to tackle and give people. And that's why it's such a goal for me to die empty, because you have so much in your head that you need to get out, because it's just a lifetime of insight and information. You can't substantiate it within a couple hour live stream. Shout out to Brock. I appreciate you, big dog.
You're gonna make more money by making better food. Because at the end of the day, you want money right now. It's like everyone knows that between the pesticides and between the medical industry, and especially America, that we're keeping people sick. And we know that McDonald's makes food that kills people, and Coca-Cola is selling sugar water and all this. Like, just in case I haven't pissed off enough people in power.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You're gonna piss off the sugar anybody that's powered on sugar. Yeah.
Sugar. What's the Health was actually a documentary on sugar. It wasn't about how bad meat was.
That's true.
It was like a reverse documentary on sugar.
True.
A reverse. I don't know if you call it a reverse, like a sub, but if you watch it again, when they show sugar in it, it's just the sugar looks super clean.
Yeah. Just
so as I state these things,
I like the way that Lex lets Kanye just talk. He don't try to insert himself in order to try to push an agenda like Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan was trying to get Kanye to apologize so bad. It seems like he asked him to apologize maybe 10 times in that whole interview. But you can tell Ye feels a lot more comfortable coming on Lex Fridman's channel. And I like how Lex, even when Lex is about to talk and Kanye starts talking, it's not an ego thing. He just lets him continue to rock out. That's how you get the best content.
I know I have protection. If I have God's protection, that's why I'm here to this date, right? So
what's coming?
It's for me to have this platform and express exactly what I feel, because it's kids out there, right, that it's kids that are going to save the world through engineering and through fact.
Is Lex Fridman Jewish? I'm curious. Is Lex Fridman Jewish? Is an apology request coming?
And I've got to download as much of the information and as much of don't be afraid to state your facts is the biggest thing, because the world is being ran by fear. And that is, no, actually God runs the world, but there's just like little cloud, this patina of our ego that deals with the money and the car and the girl we're dating and all this in the clothes we wear and spending too much on clothes and a lot of stuff that I've been involved with promoting. So now what I'm promoting is you have the idea, you say it out loud, like if you had Tourette's, say your truth out loud. If you hate Ye, you hate me, say that out loud. Say whatever you feel out loud. Like you say it non-violently, non-violent. I have to say that like as, as a shout out to Alex Jones, and Trump, where they try to say that.
Said Russian Jew, he wasn't born in Ukraine. Y'all not hearing what he's saying. I'm hearing what he's saying. I'm paying attention to what he's saying. He's from Russia. Interesting.
When they say their truths out loud, that it's inciting violence. So let's be like really clear. I'm saying that they have criminalized free thought. I hate when people use they, like they gets the blame for everything, right? It's always they.
Yeah.
Oh, who the fuck is they? Exactly.
The problem is they is us.
Yeah. Well, I love that. What we need to do is turn I to we. So we take the responsibility and turn they to us. So we take accountability to us. I to we, and they.
How much sleep y'all think Ye get every night? I would guarantee you that he probably has sleepless nights.
To us. And that relates, it's a language at the same time. You're seeing the language of our surroundings. You're seeing the language of, one of the things, okay, let's go back to the cell explanation, because I'm also doing what's that thing when Elon just put all the information in the open and people could figure out if they could figure it out. And
Josh says Lex Fridman is a Russian-American computer scientist, artificial intelligence researcher, and a podcast host. Oh. Alex Trebek says Ye already clarified that he disliked the business people who screwed him over, not their race. Orthodox rabbis have openly denounced those supporting wrong, like pornographers and the media, etc. Shout out to Alex Trebek. Thank you for that clarification.
Open source?
Yeah, open source.
So I'm open sourcing this idea right now so that, engineers and anointed people beings, anointed beings, can collectively contribute to this to push our species forward. So where I've got to with my research is that there will be a hole at the top that allows natural light, natural air, and there's a constant water system. So it becomes like a water city where it's a constant flow that's not, it's regenerative, it's not wasting the water, and it's just a constant flow. So I put the toilet really close to where this I don't want to call it a wave pool, but in the pool the water is not still.
So that exists in water. Surrounded by water.
Well, the living room is you have two rooms. You have the dry room, which people would call the living room before, and then you have the wet room.
How is that a source of happiness? What is broken about our world today that gives you in terms of the pursuit of happiness, which is one of the things
all of our buildings,
in the previous Declaration of Independence?
All of our buildings are based on just the industry and the economy. And then people lean into what people are used to seeing, like what we think is attractive. Because then you go back to the, women who give life. So everyone wants to be attractive to the attractive. And that's the reason why the media goes and gets, Bella Hadid, Kim Kardashian, Emily Ratajkowski.
I'm trying to follow, y'all. I'm genuinely trying to follow. I'm trying to understand where he's going with this, right? Lex asked him loosely about what does this have to do with happiness? And then Ye starts going into a stream of consciousness in which he's highlighting that all of the buildings that we have today is based off of commerce, basically capitalism, solving for a problem, not necessarily to solve for a problem for humanity, but solving for it in order to make more money. That's what I'm getting out of this, right? And again, I'm a C student. My attention span isn't as robust as it should be. I might even have to watch this again in order to really be able to break it down. It seemed like an episode of Interstellar. Oh my God.
Those are the only ones I'm gonna.
There's more.
There's more, but I'm thinking of the ones that I think are attractive.
Yeah, so, it is subjective.
Yeah, because it's subjective. So to my subjective, which I think the only guys that could argue with me on
y'all ever been in a classroom? Y'all ever been in class and you didn't think you was smart because you wasn't getting what the heck the teacher was saying, and everybody looked like that they was focused and that they truly understood what was going on, but everybody was fucking confused? That's what I feel like right now. I believe that a lot more of us are more confused than we like to let on. I'm just the one that's willing to raise my hand and say, hey, teacher, I don't know what you talking about, teacher. That's where I feel like right now. So I'm trying to listen to the whole thing, because what I know is a lot of times people use metaphors and they use examples in order to illustrate a point, and then they bring it back around to the regular point. So I'm listening for that in order to try to understand what's going on.
My opinion on girls would be Brad and Leo, because we're the only ones with the track record, Everything else. So for everybody else, it's subjective. We've got history. So
are you happy?
Absolutely. I'm just here. It's actually, it's difficult to make me unhappy. Now I could deal with frustrations, but when those frustrations are, it's like when you've allowed people to be in your life that shouldn't be there, and then they do the thing you knew they were going to do, and you're screaming at them, but you really need to scream at yourself.
Yeah, so you realize anything that's like anger or frustration, that's something that's wrong with you.
Thank you, Brock. I appreciate you.
Yes. Like right now, okay, say I got this pattern cutter that I wanted to remove because I felt like she was copying our patterns into the computer. And I didn't know why she wanted to do that. And I just wanted to do the patterns by hand. And then,
You mean like automating the patterns? Is that what you mean?
And my head of it, because that's the whole thing. It's like, it's a war of human beings and robots.
But that makes it more efficient, right? You don't like the efficiency. You like the creativity of the singular nature of the pattern.
I believe that the human beings, and I'm saying this to you as a person who makes robots and a person that's friends with Elon.
I'm deeply offended right now.
Yeah.
But I'll let it go.
Okay.
It's good.
So, I believe that
Ye hates robots. I'm not going to put that out there. It's a joke.
Robots have feelings too.
Yeah, that's right.
That was also a joke.
We need to clarify that for future robots. But the pattern cutter, you don't like that. That had to be that's you can't have that part of your life.
That's not what everything that I'm doing is for the sake of the human race.
Okay. All right. Let me stop for a second. Let me stop and try to bring all of this back. What I'm starting to understand is that as smart as Ye is, and maybe this is if you would classify him, or you would say that he's a genius, as smart as Ye is, it's almost like you need a translator, right? It's like maybe Moses and Aaron, right? Aaron was Moses' right-hand man for a reason, right? And Moses was the one that went about doing all of the works and the majority of the miracles and everything, but Aaron was there. And if you know the story of Aaron and Moses, then you understand what I'm saying. Maybe Ye just needs somebody to direct his creativity, to direct his mindset, to ask the right questions in order to ensure that he gets out what he needs to get out, because sometimes people need somebody a little bit more coherent to ensure that they can get out the right stream of consciousness and can communicate effectively. It's not enough to just communicate. You got to communicate effectively. Let me continue to listen.
There's things in capitalism. There's things in technology. Well, technology and original human species can exist in a peaceful way, as long as the people that know how to make robots aren't using their robots to control the humans. Lex?
It definitely is something you have to be concerned about as we become more technologically savvy. That, my friend, is why engineering isn't everything. That you have to desperately study.
He bringing it back to the original statement, and that Ye said the only thing that we really need to teach is engineering. And then Lex is saying this is why engineering isn't everything.
Lessons of history. In Nazi Germany, science was used to create atrocities. Engineering, the same. Engineering could be a tool of war.
Said the Kardashians and glorified Pookies are the corrupted apples of the tree fed to society. Same with virtuous woke. I think golden covered dung. Shout out to Xavier Foster. I appreciate you, big dog.
We are still in the Holocaust. A Jewish friend of mine said, go visit the Holocaust Museum. And my response was, let's visit our Holocaust Museum, Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I grew up in the Soviet Union. I'm Jewish.
So he is Jewish.
Parts of my family perished in the Holocaust of Nazi Germany. I have to push back that there is a difference of the atrocities at that scale, at that time, on an entire people.
I was going to say the number. That's the difference.
It's not the number.
Because 6 million, well, also, African Americans are actually Jew also. The lost tribe of
I can
Israel.
push back on that too.
Okay, so, well, everyone came from Africa.
I am African. I'm basically African American. We're brothers.
And we're both Jew, and we're brothers. So
we're human.
6 million people died in the Holocaust. Over 20 million have died by the hands of abortion. And the media promotes the my body, my choice, which is actually still a promotion for
Aaron says, I love following Ye's stream of consciousness and how he processes information in real time to create an idea. He's a pure artist. Great conversation. I think this is a great conversation. I'm trying to see where Lex is going to take this. Ray Sean says, I'm following. Ye is describing how the things we care about and put value into, happiness has been created by society, including the structure of our society. Ye wants to show us what we truly need. What do we truly need? Fair enough. Well, what do we truly need? I want to see what he's about to say.
And parenthood. 50% of Black deaths a year is actually abortion. It's not the cop with the knee. It's not Black on Black violence and gang violence. It's not heart attacks. It's actually abortion. The most dangerous place for a Black person in America is in their mother's stomach.
There's 900 to 1 million abortions in the United States a year. I hear you. But there's something about the rape, the torture, the murder of children, women, men, the complete humiliation and just the suffering that was endured during World War II.
That's what we deal with on our TVs right now with Black people. Soros would use Black trauma economy to win an election. What I love is having a healthy conversation. And as opposed to, there's certain things, boom, this drops, people are going to have pussy hats on. Boom, this drops, it's going to be, Black people and white people with signs. Boom, this drops. So, hey, China, hey, left agenda, hey, what we're going to do is say that our species can have a healthy conversation. Can
I just linger on this? Because when you say Jewish media, there's a echo of a pain that people feel that reminds
you're saying it's redundant, right?
No, I'm not saying it's redundant. I'm saying
it's redundant.
You're saying it's redundant.
It's a redundant
I'm saying
statement.
It's something I'm saying that it's something that Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Nazi Germany, said. I'm saying it's been said so many times in order to murder and torture Jewish people that it just rings wrong.
And that's the
just
thing.
Like the N word when spoken by people that have the same skin color as me, it reminds people of a very dark time.
I know. If Jewish people would accept that I'm Jew, then they would see what I'm saying in a different way. They would hear it in a different way.
But see, the people, you saying you're Jewish,
No, I'm Jew, not Jewish. Jewish means like that of a Jew. I'm saying I'm Jew.
You're a Jew.
Blood of Christ.
That
Orthodox
comes from,
Christian.
Right. But are you a follower of the philosophy?
He said, notice Ye didn't say Jewish media. He said Drill Shuros. I got an opinion on this, but I'm trying to make sure that I get every single thing out. I have a very, very, very strong opinion on this. But again, I'm trying to make sure that I get every talking point out so that I can then start to substantiate my argument, because I don't want to half cook this. Let's continue.
Of the Black Hebrew Israelites, because that's where the idea comes from. Not all of those folks are extremists, but some are extremists.
I'm a follower of the idea. I have a vague idea that all people came from Africa. But what I wanted to do,
I'm not sure you can substantiate.
Now, I could Andy Kaufman this about 7 more minutes, and then tell you what it is.
Should I count? Is. Let's count 7 minutes.
No,
do less.
I did this to do a spoiler alert.
Sure, spoiler.
What's the first thing I said at the beginning?
We're talking about engineering and humans. We're all human.
I said, and then what did I say we shouldn't focus on?
Race.
Not just that. I said they shouldn't teach this in school.
History.
The history, because what they do, what schools are doing is exactly what the CIA does with Pixar films and Disney films.
Shout out to Gore.
They make
says,
Bambi's mom die in the beginning, right? And off that pain comes a purchase of ice cream. Off that pain comes, I need some more toys. Off that pain comes, I need a bigger house. Off that pain comes, I need more girls than my wife. Off that pain comes, so they put that pain in to make us, now we're the orphans of capitalism, to make us be consumers. And we need to be a community, not just consumers. So I could have went another 7 minutes.
Okay, so let me hold on. Why does the J community, Derek's life event says, why does the J community have a problem with black Jews if it is a religion? Why don't the community bring up how they funded slavery to the blacks? YouTube won't allow me to say the real. I have an opinion. I'm trying to figure out if Lex is going to bring this back.
By being a person who presents himself in a way that says, well, I don't have to feel your pain because I also have pain too that's not being recognized. And in every interview, when I say, well, why did I get to the point of putting up the tweet? No one wants to understand why I got to that point, right?
You had pain.
Yeah, but no one.
Pain in your heart.
But let's say this. Undoubtedly, Jewish people have a lot of movies about that pain, and black people have a lot of movies about the pain of slavery, right? It's almost impossible to find a movie about Mansa Musa. When you go to the African History Museum in Washington, D.C., it doesn't start with the idea of Africans being kings. It starts with the idea of Africans being slaves. But here's another interesting point about this. This was said to me one time and it stuck with me as a family member of mine. With Africans, how many times you've heard like a rapper, talk about we were kings? That's incorrect if we're Jew. If we're Jew, and since we weren't the kings. We were the slaves that Moses freed. Africans have always said, you've listened to rap music and hear black people say, we kings, we blood of the pharaohs.
Ray Sean says, Gay describe infrastructure systems and influence of others. Basics to survive: water, warmth, oxygen, food, etc., and family. What society values has been stitched to things that don't matter. Interesting view, Rayshawn.
And if we are Jew, then we weren't. We were the people that Moses freed. And when we talk about, have you heard black people talk about 400 years of slavery? Mm-hmm. All right. That is and we're having this history lesson, right?
I thought history doesn't matter. You're exploring ancient history and drawing deep wisdom from it. And at the same time saying we need to forget all of it. We need to put that behind us.
Absolutely. We need to forget it and we need to move forward.
There is so much wisdom to draw from history, even the 20th century. Look at
Shamin says the black global image has been controlled by the Jews in Hollywood for 70 plus years straight, from sports to music to movies to radio to television.
This.
Thank you.
Communism.
Thank you, Shamin.
Without the lessons of history of the 20th century, communism sounds like a great idea.
And I said this, right? And I think that Lex is accurate in this. Levite Apparel says, he said it's really history, so-called black man's reality. I said this though. I said that history is there so that you don't repeat it. I said it when I was referring to the Old Testament specifically, and that you can't skip steps. But let's continue.
Except that some of the worst atrocities conducted by Stalin and Mao,
those who eat the forbidden fruit are now leaders, emotional,
50, 100 plus million people. Not just killed, tortured, starvation. With people, cannibalism. They ate each other. They ate their children. There's just...
Mrs. Speak on it says they always try to make the Holocaust bigger than 400 years of slavery. That's the issue I have with them. That's not even the issue that I have. Because you're going to naturally champion your cause, Mr. Speak on it, above what other people believe and what it is that they think, right? The problem that I have is that there's not as much energy put into canceling the things that is being said that is egregious from these rappers. Listen. I heard that Beyonce and Lizzo Beyonce and Lizzo said something that affected a community of people. I'm not sure if it was the alphabet community. I'm not sure if it was Jewish people. I don't know what it was. They went back and they changed their lyrics. When rappers and everybody else, they are very, very, very careful not to say anything negative about certain communities of people, especially the little heads. I mean, think about it, y'all. This is my problem. This is my problem. And this is the main thing. I'm going to come back to this interview. The main problem that I have is that we have to tiptoe around even the J word. Even the J word, right? But if I say nigga, ain't nobody tripping. Ain't no energy. Listen, I've seen more rappers come out on behalf of condemning Ye for saying the things that he felt in his heart. And instead of having a conversation, nobody tripped. But if I say, yo, nigga this, nigga that, pulled up on your hood and splat splat, we smoking on a pack tonight. I don't want to hear you. I just want to rap tonight. We spitting lyrics in the back tonight. And I'm going to blow your girl's back tonight. And I'm going to freestyle all day. I'm going to spit it, kill it, rip it in half, throw it on the ceiling, run up in your crib, kill all of the children. If I just start freestyling and then just say some of the most egregious things, just right off the top of my head, if I just start freestyling and start saying some of the most egregious things, ain't nobody tripping. Roll through in the back of the lag. Shot through. Shot your chick in the back. We just riding through, and then I'm going to dish a pack of the crack so that the 5-0 don't come on me and throw me a rap. I could just freestyle off the top of my head, say some of the most egregious things, and nobody will trip. Nobody will trip. Real talk. Ain't nobody tripping whatsoever. Don't even blink an eye. Don't even blink an eye. Why is that? Why is that? That's the main problem that I have. That is the main problem that I have. And it's not, listen, I don't even expect it from any other community. The problem is that when I see people that look like me turn against people that look like me, and then y'all talking about being pro-black, when you advocate for the things from other people to do the worst things for your community, and then when somebody bring out something that says something different from what it is that you're saying in the rap lyric, it's no longer having a conversation. I'm glad that they canceled Ye. Come on, man. Come on, man. What y'all talking about? Y'all don't even realize that y'all are the strongest, most enduring, physically imposing group of people on the face of the earth. I am talking about you. You are the strongest, most physical, you are the greatest set of people on the face of this earth, and you don't even know it because you keep kowtowing and you won't even support each other for 5 seconds. We are too forgiving, and the response to Kanye is proof. Look at the bullcrap he has done. See? Yet our community is open arms. Come and get your plate, Ye. They have the ability to hide behind white supremacy. They don't mind that generalization, but peel back the curtain and see who's in charge. We can say anything. 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 And it makes no sense whatsoever. No sense whatsoever. Let me get back to it. I'm not going to keep freestyling just for the sake of my conversation. Yes, I do have bars. I can freestyle. No, let me stop. I ain't rap. I haven't rapped in years. I don't do that. Just for the sake of conversation. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Dark. People should read some books on this, on the Holodomor in the 1930s.
But I disagree.
With that lesson, we would, and now it's becoming more popular. Marxism and communism.
I'm not disagreeing that happened. I'm disagreeing that we need to harp on the things that happen, because the truth is, I'm giving a fact. 50% today of, let's say you don't call black people Jew, right? Black people's deaths today is abortion today, right now. Like that, it's not racism. That's too wide of a term. It's genocide and population control that black people are in today in America, that is promoted by the music and the media that black people make, that Jewish record labels get paid off of, or media companies, record labels and media company also.
So what Ye is saying is that you want me to apologize because it's important to you to maintain the integrity of what it is that you teach your children. Let me translate this for you. Now it's getting clear. Lucid Experience says, Kanye is the last hope for our culture in regards to speaking freely. If they're able to silence him and he's a multi-billionaire, we're in trouble. I agree. Here's the thing. He's saying that y'all have no problem whatsoever profiting off of our pain and trauma that's being sold back to us. You're profiting off of the pain and trauma that's being sold back to us. And as a matter of fact, not only that, promoting it, which would then, let's harken back to the live stream that I did last week, fund more profitability in your pocket, because we know that they are the new slave catchers. As far as rappers are the ones that's catching the slaves by singing into your ear and selling you back your trauma, which would then fund the prisons. Come on, man. If you're sitting here and telling me that it's just a coincidence that 13.6% of the population commits 40% of the murders, and you telling me, and prison systems is a for-profit system, and that there's been conversations largely that's unsubstantiated but definitely alleged, that there has been multiple different meetings and that they've chosen hip-hop specifically that's been targeted to a group of people, in which another group of people that don't look like them profit the most off of their pain and trauma. And it's okay to sell that while making sure you censor what goes into your own neighborhood, and you tell me that makes sense. Come on. I know what Ye is trying to say. I ain't crazy. Ye is Hebrew, yes, for yes. Say it with me, y'all. Say it with me, yay, y'all. Come on, man.
Give it a wider.
I agree with Martin Luther King. I have a dream too.
That
one day you would not be judged by the color of your skin,
by the content of your character,
or your race, black or Jew, but by the content of your character. All the assholes that fucked you over in the music industry, fuck artists over in the music industry, are individuals. They're not Jews.
Interesting. So, what Lex is telling us is that it doesn't matter who the collective is. We want to hold the individual accountable. Interesting, because when we start to have the George Floyd conversation, nobody says, I want to hold the individual accountable that laid the knee on his neck. They say that it's systematic. How does that make sense? You're saying that there's individuals that are responsible for the contracts, individuals that are responsible for what's being sold and the narrative that's being pushed out. It's not a system. It's not collective. But then when we start to tear up our own neighborhoods and stand for things that don't even mean anything, that's not relevant to anything that is going to produce any additional fruit in our neighborhoods, it's not the individual, it's systematic. Come on. What am I missing? Am I off? I'm more than willing to take into consideration that I'm wrong. How do you then spin that narrative, yo? Come on, man. I ain't crazy. I know I ain't crazy.
Can you
they are Jewish.
It doesn't. They're human with opportunities.
Oh, it's just humans.
And they
now.
took those opportunities.
Except it was a white guy with a badge on. And then we start saying defund the police. Defund the whole police. Let your cities run rampant and let crime get out of control like it is today. Come on, man. Oh, my Jesus. Bless me, bless me. Help me, Lord. Help me. Bless somebody to wake up. Shout out to Adriana Bonita Aziz. I love you, baby girl.
Care if they're Jewish.
Do you feel like I should release that pain and separate it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're saying I should release that pain and separate it, then I'm telling you should release your pain and separate.
And you know what else I hate? I hate when people say stuff like, that's not what was said, though. Defund did not mean run rampant. Defund means exactly what it means. It means defund. It means take resources away from what it was that was keeping the person that you call when you have a problem inside of your community. It didn't say reallocate the police. It said defund the police. It was said that way for a reason. And please don't gaslight me. Please don't gaslight me. I am not in the mood to be gaslit today. Lex is right. Anton is Aaron. At this point, do a collab with Ye because both of you have the same view on Black Lives Matters. No, he's not right. He's wrong on this one. The same as my body, my choice over abortions, but it didn't apply to vaccine mandates. You know what else? You know what else they didn't apply? They told you to shut the hell up. Let me tell you what really happens. Let me break this down for y'all. Y'all not paying attention. Y'all not paying attention. Think about it like this on a very small scale. Maybe you'll understand it this way. If businesses opened up between 2020 and 2022 in certain states, not Florida, not Texas, but for example, I was in Michigan because I'm from Michigan for an extended period of time. If businesses opened up, they fined, they even arrested, went up to arresting you. If you opened up and made money and you was within 6 feet. But they never stopped you from protesting and tearing up your own neighborhoods. Wasn't no 6 feet. Wasn't even a mask mandate for y'all to be able to protest, go in and tear up your own neighborhoods during the exact same time. They never tripped. They never dispersed the crowd. They never sent the police or none of that. Yo, I was at the game yesterday. Let me show you something. I was at the game yesterday. And this little girl right here, this is a police officer now. Y'all want to see what our police officers look like? Look, they thought that I was recording the girl because she got a free jersey. I was recording the police officer. This is what the police officers look like now. Look at that little baby. That can't be any older. Look like they a 16-year-old. Look at that little baby. I said, I had to record it because I'm going to drop that as a short. That ain't no police officer. Could you imagine something happening on the court that night or somebody that calls a police officer because, she just getting the overtime for working on the Pistons game? I said, what is that? That ain't no police officer. That's a little baby. Roland Curtis says, but you don't think that Derek Chauvin's knee is a microcosm of what the system has been doing to the black community for over 400 years? I don't. I think that it's a distraction that got you to continue to make your communities food deserts and for you to distract you from what's really going on. And it's not a race war. It's a class war. It's principalities. But that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you, Roland Curtis, for continuing to participate on the platform. Uncle Tom Foolery says, I've noticed millions is currently being made off of promoting obesity as a healthy lifestyle to black women. This is BS. This BS is sickening. Alex Trebek says, Lex is saying it's about holding individuals, not groups, accountable. Black Lives Matter was wrong to say systematic racism. Let's continue. Let's continue with the video. I don't want to get distracted.
And we could get to this, the list of how you are being with engineering opportunities.
That's 100%. I see what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. The pain, I'm going to let it go. Engineering challenges. I get it. One of the problems you highlight.
And the girl that I just showed y'all on the camera was a police officer, not security. That was a police officer. Look, she had a gun that was bigger than her. Let me show it to y'all again. She had a gun that was bigger than her. That was a police officer. Hold on. Look at the gun. That is a Detroit police officer. That is a police officer. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys. I done picked the wrong video. I done did the wrong video. Let me get back to the Lex Fridman video.
The following is a conversation with you.
To capitalism, to make us be consumers. That's how we make people. That's how people are made.
It's the desire to be loved. Is that at the individual level?
Hold on, let me back up.
There's a lot of people that have kind of like sat through. I wanted to wear a different color hoodie because I was just tired of seeing this hoodie in all the interviews.
There's a life there. There's a set of memories and a history that brought you together, and you're like, damn, I like this DNA.
Yeah. And so certain people have just like high DNA. Ivanka Trump has high DNA. You know, it's like,
how's your DNA? Pretty good.
I think we've seen that. It's been proven. I mean, but look at my mom and look at my dad. You know, me and my dad have a water purification center in the DR right now, and my dad is the original Steve. Then we talk about like, what's the motivation? Like, yeah, there's a motivation somewhere in the back of my mind of my family, and if it's like where Moses smite the rock and God didn't allow him to get to the promised land, because the promised land is family. That is the problem. That is earth. Because I state these things, I know I have protection. If I have God's protection, that's why I'm here to this date, right? So it's for me to have this platform and express exactly what I feel, because it's kids out there, right, that
I'm getting lost. I don't even remember where I was because I didn't. We're going to continue this tomorrow. We'll continue this tomorrow. Make sure y'all subscribe, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Turn on your notifications. We'll continue this tomorrow. I'm frustrated. I am. I'm very, very frustrated. Because I'm frustrated that y'all don't get it. I'm frustrated that y'all don't get it. I genuinely am. And maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't get it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Taking us off. Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We'll continue this tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue it.